Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to break down the Rocket Mortgage Tournament on Draftkings. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos breaking down NBA, NFL, PGA, and esports, daily fantasy sports sites, esports, including Call of Duty, League of Legends, and Counter-Strike CSGO. Also, again, I just want to say thank you guys for all the support. We're at 3.4 thousand subscribers. If you enjoy this free content, if you could like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. Those things do really help me out to continue to grow this channel. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, it's just the DK DFS show. If you could leave a 5-star rating and review, that would also be greatly, greatly appreciated. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So before we get into the breakdown of the Rocket Mortgage tournament, what we can do is we can look back my lineup here from last week. So last week, got the winner once again, Dustin Johnson. He was a guy I mentioned I liked a lot going into the tournament. He ended up winning. So yeah, picked Webb, picked Dustin. Now sure, both guys were relatively chalky in both weeks, but I'm okay with that, right? So this was a week where if you had 4 guys make the cut, you were in great shape for cash. You were in decent shape for GPPs. I only played GPPs. This was in the $100 tournament. I entered probably a little more than I usually do for golf, since I still don't consider myself an expert in PGA DFS. But I wanted to see the ownership, right? And what are the sharp guys on, right? So, and I felt pretty good. All the guys that I played were pretty high owned. A lot of the, Dustin Johnson, 20% owned. Sunjay M, 32% owned. Gary Woodland, 22%. Finau, 21%. Victor Hovland, another guy I mentioned, 33%. And Scotty Scheffler, 25% owned. So, I was on a lot of the guys that a lot of the, sharks on, right? The guys that play big money. So, yeah, like I said, it was a tournament where if you had a lot of the stars miss the cut, like a lot of them. So if you had 3 or 4 guys, probably 4. If you had 4 or 5 make the cut, you were in really good shape again. I only had 3. I wasn't actually too far off the money though in this $100 tournament. About 15 points off, only having 3 guys make the cut. And Dustin was great, obviously won it, and then Victor Hovland was pretty good as well. Sunjay made the cut, it wasn't great, but Woodland, Finau. Woodland, Finau, and Scheffler all just missed the cut. It was a 4 under cut. Woodland was 2 under, and then Finau and Scheffler were 3 under. So close, but that's PGA DFS for you. But yeah, that's really the look back there of my lineup. So what we can do now is we can go over to the slate here. Again, we have another millionaire maker. Love that DraftKings continues to put out these millionaire makers every single week for PGA. And now what we can do is I can switch over to, here, let me make sure this is big enough. All right, that should be good. All right, let me now switch the spreadsheet I made for you. Sorry about that, guys. All right, now we are on to my spreadsheet I made for you guys. So once again, we have the DraftKings information on the left-hand side. So we have the player's salary, the Vegas odds. So Bryson is 6.5. So that means he's the favorite to win, 6.5 to 1 to win. Have their average points per game on there. The course history. There's only been 1 year of this Rocket Mortgage Challenge, so we only have 1 year of course history. And it's just a little bit about the course. It's a fairly fairly easy course. I should say there's a lot of high scores last year, or good scores, I should say. They did say they're going to try to make the rough a little bit longer to make it a little bit more difficult. So we'll see how it goes. But again, only 1 year of going off on this course. And then again, I included all the strokes gained rankings. So we have the total strokes gained approach, tee to green, putting, off the tee, around the green, and I also included the driving distance rankings in there as well. So yeah, like I said, we can't put like a lot of emphasis in the course history, and then the 1 year of the when this course was played, the strokes gained approach and tee to green were the stats that you kind of want to keep an eye on there. So those are the ones where the players made up the most ground. So again, we are still going off 1 year, so I don't want to put too much emphasis in there, but I did put those as the first two next to total. Those are the two I guess I want to focus on the most, but again, including putting off the tee around the green and driving distance in there as well. So let's just start with the top guys here. So, if you guys have watched my last few PGA videos, I've been, preferring the balance approach just because there's been so many good guys now 8 to 9K range. This is a little bit different of a tournament. Now we have a little bit more top heavy. So not as many stars, but the stars that are in here should be able to dominate this field, right? So we have I would say the top 5 guys or so, right? Bryson, Webb, Tyrell Hands, Patrick Reed, Hideki. Those guys, compared to the field, right, have a pretty big advantage. So I think what I'm leaning towards and what most people do as well is a little bit more of the stars and scrubs approach. So probably maybe try to get one jam in a couple of guys at the top and then have to play a couple of value guys. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards right now. I think the balance approach in this one will be a little bit more contrarian. Not saying it's out of play, but I just think a lot of people, again, probably including myself, will go a little bit more of the stars and scrubs build. So Bryson. If you guys have been watching any PGA content or listening to any PGA content this week, he's a guy everyone's talking about. He is going to be super popular. He's going to be, even at 11-7, he's going to be the ultimate chalk. He's been in great form. A lot of top 10s here recently and just playing really well. Strokes gained total, again, he's second. Good approach and tee to green too. There's not a whole lot of downside to say. He's 6.5 to 1 to win as well. Those odds have been going up. People are betting on him, so it could even be 6 or maybe 5.5. I haven't checked. I put this on yesterday. But yeah, Bryson's a guy that's going to be very, very popular. So I think for a cash game setting, you probably play him. But for GPPs, I think there is merit to fade because 11-7 is a lot to pay, and he's going to be very popular too. So we have a Webb Simpson at 11K, $700 discount off of Bryson. I like him a decent amount. He won what was the tournament 2 weeks ago, and he's been in good form, right? And he has very good numbers too, right? Strokes gained total, approach, tee green, a great putter. He's got basically everything going for him. Not the best off the tee, but again, he's been in really good form. 10-1 odds to win. His points per game, if you're just looking at the Draftkings points per game, right, really high up there at 95. He basically makes every single cut. You got to have interest in Webb too. I think you can play both Bryson and Webb. I think that's viable. I think some people do it, but I think most will probably just go Bryson and then maybe some cheaper guys. So for that reason alone, I think Webb might go a little bit lower owned. Definitely going to be lower owned than Bryson. And then let's talk about Tyrell Hands. So he's a guy that been battling injuries, hasn't played a lot, but came back and played really well. And again, his strokes gained rankings look great, right? He's 1 in almost everything. So he's someone that may be a little bit riskier of a play because we haven't seen a whole lot of him recently. But when he has played really, really well. So another guy that is going to go lower owned just because, again, Bryson's going to eat up so much of that ownership. So, getting to maybe fading Bryson and getting to one of those guys below him for GPPs is not the worst idea, again, because Bryson's going to eat up so much ownership. For cash games, though, I do think you play Bryson. Patrick Reed at 10.5 is a guy I have not a whole lot of interest in. I would rather get to Webb or Tyrell Hands for a little bit more. I'd rather probably get to Hideki or Victor Hovland for a little bit less. So not super high on Patrick Reed. Hideki, I think, makes for an interesting contrarian play here at 10.2K. He let me down a couple weekends ago where he was the only guy that missed the cut for me. But that was his first tournament back since coronavirus. Maybe he's just shaking off the rust a little bit. Not super worried about that. Again, this field, this course is a pretty easy one, so Hideki should be able to put up a decent score here. The only area he struggles obviously is putting. He struggled big time in it a couple weekends ago. But I have interest in Hideki. Again, he's going to go low owned, but I like him at 10.2. Victor Hovland was a guy I liked a lot. Again, I played him myself last weekend. I still like him at 10K. I think that price will definitely lower his ownership, right? He was, in the high 7K range, right, last week. Now he's 10K. But again, the field's easier, but he's been in really good form. I think he's someone that, just because that big price bump goes a little bit lower owned. Sanjay M, now we get to the 9K range. I like him a good amount as well. He's someone that's been a little bit up and down since coming back from coronavirus, the big layoff. But the 9.8K price point, he didn't get like the biggest price hiker. We've seen a lot of guys get like huge price bumps, right? For example, like Victor Hovland, he went from like a 7K range to 10K range. Sanjay was like 9K when he started, then back down to like the mid 8K range, now back up to 9.8K. So his price didn't move a whole lot. Yes, so for that reason alone, I think he makes for a pretty decent play. 22-1 odds to win. That looked pretty good. Ricky Fowler at 9.5. I just don't think I can do it right now. He's really been struggling. Again, just his name alone, he will always garner ownership. He's a very popular golfer, but for DFS-wise, it's probably a stay away for me. And then we get to arguably, I think my favorite play on the slate is Tony Finau at 9.3. Now I know, I played him last week. He let me down, just missed the cut. But he didn't really play terribly. He just didn't take advantage of the easier holes on the course. So I like Finau a lot here. Again, he was always someone that was in like the mid 8K range. His price didn't move a whole lot for this one. So I really like Finau. He's been in pretty good form. I know he missed the cut, but not super worried about that last week. He's got good numbers too as far as strokes gained total, approach, tee to green as well. So I really like Finau. I think he is my favorite play of the day, or of the weekend, I should say. Let's scroll down a little bit more now. So Bubba Watson at 9.2 is probably a stay away. Let's see. Played really well last week. Got a huge price bump, though. I still think he's a decent play. He was 7.1 last week. Now he's 9.1. But again, he finished, I think it was in the top 10. And he played pretty well. So, things you want to consider when you're making a PGA DFS lineup is, again, take some course history into play, some strokes gained rankings, as well as recent play. Now we have a few weeks of recent play in there. So yeah, not someone I have interest in. Scotty Scheffler at 9K, also someone I played last week. Also someone I have interest in again this week. Did go up from the mid 7K range to a 9K price point, but I think this course suits him decently well. I think he's not someone that'll be that high owned. Decent strokes gained total, approach, and tee to green rankings. So I do have a decent amount of interest in Scotty. Again, he's been in pretty good form. Let's see. Rory Sabbatini finished third in this tournament last year. Again, I don't think we want to put so much emphasis on it, but it's definitely good, right, that he finished third. It's not a bad thing. So I think that makes him a decent option. JT Poston finished 11th. Again, he's got decent rankings. Besides the approach, 159th, not great there. But again, decent course history and a pretty okay price at 8.7K. 40-1 odds to win. I think he makes for an interesting play in the 8K range. Jason Day's probably a stay away from me. Now, Doc Redmon's a guy that's going to be, in my opinion, very, very popular. He was someone that a lot of the sharps were on last week. He was very cheap last week. Now he's all the way up to 8.5K. He finished second this tournament last year. He's got good strokes gained approach as well as tee to green numbers. And again, he was in good form. He had a great Sunday last weekend. So Doc Redmon's a guy that I think it makes for a really good cash game play. But again, be warned, he is someone that is going to be very popular. Like Bryson, he's going to be up there in ownership for sure. Let's see. Other guys, so let's scroll down a little bit here. Brandt Snedeker at 7.9. I know he finished 5th last year, but he's not been in the best form recently. He's probably a stay away. Let's see. Brannad Toddy, again, he had the big weekend, kind of faded Sunday, but played really well that tournament. He's at 7.8K. If you're a guy that's really high into recent play, again, he played really, really well last week. Let's see. Harold Varner at 7.6K, also one of my favorite plays. I really like this price on him. Didn't move a whole lot. Again, you see a lot of those guys got huge price bumps because of the easier competition in this field. Harold Varner, not so much. Again, he went up a little bit, but not a whole lot. 7.6K, I think that looks really good. good strokes gained total, approach, tee to green rankings as well. So Harold Vaughn the third at 7.6K. One of my favorite plays, probably my favorite play in the 7K range. I really, really like him. Let's see, let's scroll down a little bit more here. Brian Stewart finished 5th last year. Wes Roach, 3rd. Again, not bad, but it is it's good to see that they did well on this course. Let's see. So let's go down a little bit more. Manuel Griot was a risky value play. I mentioned possibly throwing a dart throw on last week. I think he was 6.3K. Now he's 7.1. He did make the cut. The issue with him is just his short game. Terrible putter. Terrible around the green. So if he can just have like a decent putting day or a decent putting weekend, I should say, he could have a chance to put up a pretty nice score here. So I have some interest, right? It's good that he finally made the cut because he was in terrible form before that. Let's see. Tom Hodge is a guy I think will be relatively popular on this one. He's 7K, and he's got good strokes gained, approach, and tee degree rankings. And, nothing that stands out like big time, but 30th and 22nd is pretty good for a guy in the 7K flat. So I think he'll be someone that will garner some ownership for sure. Let's see, Atlanta Griffin at 6.8K. I like him a good amount. He was someone that in those in the tournaments where he had better competition, he was about 6.5K range. His price didn't move too much. Now he's at 6.8. Relatively decent numbers, and for a guy under 7K, again, I think he looks pretty good. Probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite play below the 7K range. I think he's also someone that will be somewhat popular. Matthew Wolff, the young guy, he's been struggling a bit recently, but when he's playing well, he does have upside to play really well. But I think if he's on his game, he has a chance to maybe win this one. So he's someone that I have a little bit of interest in there at 6.8. Let's see. Scroll down a little bit more here. Cameron Tringale, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I think looks decent at 6.6. He finished 5th last year. Decent strokes gained total tee to green and approach, right? So I think he's someone that kind of piques my interest. 200 to 1 is not great Vegas odds, but really what you're looking for is just for them to make the cut. And 5th place finisher last year, good rankings as well. I think he makes someone that he's someone that I have interest in as well in the 6K range. Let's see. Now we're getting to the point where it's a lot of just kind of dart throws. So anyone, I think, below like the 6.5K range is, if you play them, you really just want to hope they make the cut. So not a whole lot really stands out to me, like down there. Like I don't know if I want to get this far. Like personally, probably the cheapest guy I'll play would probably be Tringale or Orlando Griffin, right? Below that, there's just, I don't really feel good about anyone. Now, sure, yeah, so there's a decent amount of these guys that will make the cut, but it's really kind of just like throwing a dart and hoping they make it. JJ Spawn finished 13th last year. He's 6.3K. Again, not terrible, but it's good that he at least had some decent history. Roger Sloan finished 21st. But yeah, like you get down to this range, there's not a whole lot that really looks great here. But yeah, I think that's really going to do it for today's video, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, I'd really appreciate it if you'd like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already and hit that notification bell. Those things do really help me out to continue to grow this YouTube channel. Again, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, it's important to do so. It's in the description below. I will tweet out this spreadsheet right after this video, so be on the lookout for that, guys. You can use it for making your lineups for Thursday. But yeah, thanks again, guys. Hope you guys all have a good day. If you guys are interested in CSGO, I'll have a video up for Wednesday slate right after this. So yeah, hope you guys all have a good day, and I will see you all in the next video.